Hello and welcome to Accelerate You, where we hope to inspire you with low cost and often free resources to accelerate you. In the studio is we reference him as my TV husband. We've got Corey Speight back in the house, folks, to talk about all things low cost and free in relationship to what is today, sir?
Looks like today is the first day of spring.
Did you know that, folks? Today is the first day of spring. So we're going to talk about spring, the history of spring, all kinds of crazy things you can do in spring, and we're just going to let it flow from there. But just a couple things, because you need to work this into your schedule today, because this is where I know you and I are going here next. Today, you can get a small free cone at Dairy Queen. For spring. And if you do the Dunkin' Donuts and you do the rewards points, today they will triple your points. So be sure to run over there and get you something if you are a Dunkin's fan. But I definitely am going to go take it up on the free cone at Dairy Queen. Isn't that wonderful? So, my friend who has come in on first day of spring to celebrate with us. So let me test you a little bit. What do you know about spring?
Oh man, I know it's one of my favorite seasons, but
okay, hold on a second. Why is it one of your favorite seasons?
Spring for me is relaxing. No pun intended. Literally, it's like a breath of fresh air for me. You get rejuvenated. You get some time to relax. It's just a fresh start, a clean start. The sunshine, clean air. Although, ironically, this is the time where I usually get sick as well, and I'm pretty sure we'll talk about it with the bipolar weather and everything. But spring is just so pretty with the atmosphere, with nature, with spring fashion. So I love it. So
when you talk about spring, there's something else that happens during spring that I'm not a big fan over. And we have talked about this on other shows about the history of time changes.
Ah, yes.
So we sprung forward 2 weeks ago maybe?
I think so.
About 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. They don't change times everywhere in the whole wide world. I mean, the U.S. we're I think the holdout, and I don't think all the states. Well, I know for a fact not all the states in the U.S. Change times. So, are you spring forward or spring fall behind? Or time? Are you spring forward or are you time fall behind?
Well, I'm always in favor of the extra hour of sleep, although I may not take fully advantage of it all the time. But yeah, give me the hour.
You want the hour? Okay, all right. I just wish they'd leave it alone, whichever one they would pick. You talked about spring. Now, did you say you like spring, or spring is your favorite season?
I like spring. Actually, fall is my favorite.
Fall.
Because of all the pretty colors.
Oh my goodness gracious, yes, that crisp air, the colors, the pumpkins, but it's a lot like spring, right? It's not horribly hot.
Right.
It's not horribly any particular way, which is fall is also the same. It's kind of a temperate, moderate kind of thing. So that's it for your knowledge on the history of spring. That's it?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the history of spring.
Let's do it.
Believe it or not, once upon a time, spring was called springen. That's it with an A-N, and it meant to leap or surge forward.
Okay.
Which I found very interesting, because in spring what do? We spring forward with the time. I don't think that they are related, but I found that very, very interesting. In some cultures, it's also associated with the Lent. Being at the same time of spring. And in the Greek history, and in many histories actually, it was the life over death and fertility was the spring season. So we have records of spring dating back to the Mayans, the Romans, and the Egyptians. So, yeah, spring's been around for quite a long time. But once again, I don't imagine they called it springin or something else, but they obviously acknowledge that there was something changing about the days,
Right.
whether they realized what it was or not. So, some obvious things. We do have stuff in bloom. The temperature changes. Lots of babies, animals get born around this time. The days turn a little bit longer, and those types of things. But as our resident in WHIG TV, our resident fashion expert, let's talk about spring fashions. Let's talk about the transition of winter to spring. And I always find it very difficult this time of the year for a variety of reasons. One, you truly don't know what the day is going to hold. Is it going to be a sunny day? Is it going to be not a sunny day? Is it going to be a rainy day? Buildings are still trying to figure out, should they have the air or the heat on? I also feel like I don't want to be dull and drab of the very basic colors, the black and the brown that I sort of wear during winter, but I'm not ready to come out with my neon quite yet.
Right.
So give us some pointers for those days we just don't know what it's going to be like, and transitioning from the doldrums of winter, heading towards summer, but we're not quite there yet.
Okay. Well, just like, when I mentioned fall is like a perfect time for layering your clothes, where you can really be fashionable with lots of layers on, whether you have an undershirt, a t-shirt, a sweater, a top coat, and things like that. With spring, you can actually do the very same thing. It all depends on really the material that you wear, and I would probably suggest maybe linen or cotton are probably the two softest and most comfortable. So you always want to be comfortable when considering fashion. People always think that it's about the look, but really and truly it's about how it feels, and the feel comes out in the way it looks. So dress light, and that way, if it's with our bipolar weather, whether it's a little bit too cold or cool, you can always layer it and still be fashionable at the same time.
I like how you mentioned cotton and linen, because I know the linen in 2025 is not the linen that I grew up with.
Right.
It's a very different linen. It's an affordable linen, and not like it was 20 years ago. Linen in 2025 is wrinkly.
It is.
So let's talk about that transition with the linen. I mean, and very affordable as well. Linen was available at a lot of our big box retailers. I don't know if it was last season or the season before, and linen tends to be a relatively inexpensive fabric.
It does. That is true, and that's really true for a lot of textiles and fabrics nowadays. It's more. A lot of it is more expensive, and it's, for some reason or another, it's not the same quality that you may be used to, or that our parents or grandparents grew up on. While it is, I'm not sure, and it may be that the retailers and textile experts are more about the dollar versus quality. I don't know, just assuming. But yeah, and I think more so those materials are made for being active, because you mentioned it being wrinkly. Well, a lot of these days people are more active, they're more on the move, and hence why we have the active wear, so people can just put it on and go. So maybe, I don't know, the materials are leaning towards that aspect. Who knows? But yeah, it's definitely not the same.
And you may be quite right. It is because we live in this very mobile society. So I'm going to put on a pair of pants. They're a pretty pair of linen pants, but they are going to be more wrinkly in nature, and I'm just going to go with that because I'm taking the kids here and there, or meeting friends for lunch, or just going to the office. Because remember, in the post-COVID world, we never really returned to the wardrobes we had prior, whether it be church or outings or whatnot. We are a much more casual society than we used to be. So good ideas on the layering for sure. what about colors? This is also, like I said, I'm not ready for the neon, but
Right.
I'm not going to be wearing those dull colors. So tell our audience, what are some good spring colors?
Well, again, when you think of spring, or at least when I think of, you think of, something fresh, something vibrant. And even though you may not want to immediately step out into the lime greens, you can think about a light green or your pastel colors, which are usually your lighter colors. Actually, I learned of a new term recently, orangey red.
Orangey red.
So I learned that that's one of the most popular spring colors, and especially for the gentlemen, because I'm always implementing for the guys to get out of their comfort zone, try new things, and really a sky blue or a baby blue, those are real great spring colors, I would say. And even any form of your browns, your chocolates, or your tans or beiges, those are, I feel, colors that especially gentlemen can ease their way into introducing themselves and their wardrobe to colors, still be fashionable and stylish at the same time, and as always, comfortable. We tend to, well, I would like to see us get away from the traditional whites. Although a clean white shirt is perfect, it's classic, but have a little fun with it. Venture off into the sky blues, the Carolina blues, the baby blues, or the tans, the pecans, or pecans, however you decide to pronounce it. And just dibble and dabble with that, because as my math teacher told me, why it was my math teacher, I don't know, but he always said color makes the difference. And ever since the 4th grade where he said that has stuck with me.
It's funny the things that stick with us. And color makes a difference, and color certainly does. So as a fashion advisor and someone who works in the industry, yes, I think blue looks good on everybody. Everybody's probably got something beige in their closet, but give us some low costume free tips on dressing that up. What can I add to that maybe it is a fall outfit, but I want it to look more spring? Because a beige could go really across all 4.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me some things I could do differently with just the blue, the beige,
Okay.
the orangey red.
Well, people, I don't know why, people tend to think that blue and black or blue and brown don't really go together. I'm not quite sure why, but I can attest that they actually do. I mean, actually, I have blue and brown
I
on
don't
today.
know if this shows up on our screen, but he has on the most gorgeous. It's blue and brown, and then that white shirt he said don't wear. But then look at everything else he's got with all the blue accessories: the blue watch, the pocket square. Your tie is a combination of a beige, a blue, a brown. And your lapel pin. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. So there you go, a perfect example. And I don't think it could go any better. It goes extremely well.
But yeah, so to combine the coloring and the layering, you can, let's say, you can have on a nice blue shirt. It could be sky blue. If you want to dress it up, maybe look preppy as well as prepare for the weather, you could layer it with a tan or a light brown sweater. You can either actually wear the sweater or you can drape it around you to look, I don't want to say preppy, but I don't know, maybe college-esque, so to speak.
Scholarly.
Scholarly. You could tie it
Look
around your
scholarly.
waist, just to add a different look, still be colorful, and here again, that word comfort.
And you probably got all those things in your closet as well. So there are a lot of folks, and I'm thinking I lean into the category of I do believe this, but let me ask you, what are your thoughts on like a color theory that Purnell looks better in warm or cool colors, and they consist of this, that, and that, and I look better in whatever, and it consists of this, that, and that. What are your thoughts on having somebody do your colors, or do you even believe in that?
I actually do.
Okay, I do as well. I do as well.
And I've thought about this really not in depth. I think it's really been a subconscious thing for me. I really think my color is brown.
Brown, okay.
Why, I don't know, but I mean, when I look in the mirror, I like what I see. I get compliments when I'm out. I have one brown today, so it just works. I think, and really, maybe not really brown, but earth tones. So, and if anybody doesn't know what earth tones mean, just look out. It's really your browns, your greens. Blue can either be considered earth tone. So if you look at the earth, you look at the grass, you look at the water, you look at the soil. Those are your earth tone colors, and you like brown. So they work for me. So I continue to let them work. So find out what your color is, what you really feel passionate about, feel good about, and work those colors.
And I guess we also have to say, because you use the word passion, whether it looks good on you or not, if yellow is your go-to color, if it's your favorite color, even if it's not your best color, I think you're going to still look good in it because you love that color. So I think that there's some theory behind that as well. If you just don't like a color, just don't wear it. Now, in terms of free resources, you can go online. Instagram is one place that I love to go, and you can find people that can do your colors. You can download a variety of different little, I want to call them apps for lack of a better word, and you can try out a haircut. You can try out some colors. There's all kinds of things that you can do. So let social media be your friend, folks, because once again, lots and lots of free resources for that. And you'll notice now, I'm assuming this happens in menswear, I'm finding more and more that when I go look at clothes online, they let me pick a model.
They do.
Do they do the same thing with men?
They do.
All right, so then y'all know what we're talking about. You pick that model, and of course for me, she's real short, and then I see how it looks on her. So okay, so y'all pick the model too. So see, there you go. Our online retailers are trying to get with the program.
Definitely.
What are some other, when I think of spring, there's something that comes to mind automatically, and I saw my neighbor doing it last weekend.
Let me guess. Spring cleaning.
It is spring cleaning, and my neighbor, she had a crew at her house, and they all had on those. You remember the Playtex gloves that come up to here, and I just know they were over there doing some heavy duty cleaning.
Okay.
But when I was growing up, this was a serious thing in my house. My great aunt, she rubbed down the walls, and you wash stuff. It was a total top to bottom cleaning. Now, I don't recall if she traded out stuff, but a lot of people are still very focused on that spring cleaning. What's your thoughts on that?
So when you asked me at the top of the show about spring, and I said it was one of my favorites, I think it kind of relates to spring cleaning, because you're decluttering, not necessarily your house, but your mind as well. Hitting the reset, or getting a fresh start at things. I think that all comes with, when I think about that, spring, and I failed to mention about the flowers. The flowers are in bloom, and they're so pretty, and of course, that's another reason how I get the inspiration for the pens. But spring cleaning, whether it's in your mind or in your household, it's necessary, because you always want a fresh start whenever you can get it, to see how you can be better, or if I'm not wearing this, who can I give it to? How can it be more useful to someone else? And then how can I get something else to replace it, and feel fresh, new, revived, vibrant, and as far as clothes go. So
a couple of things that I thought were really good suggestions that we located is spring with cleaning and purging and rebirth is also an excellent time to put on your calendars to change those once a year things. Check your smoke detectors, check your internal type items at your house, your plumbing, those types of things. And I just got a really good list. So things like the one time a year, smoke detectors, declutter, This is an excellent time to declutter and still get that receipt from your charitables so that you've donated things. Historically, I believe that spring cleaning comes from a time in which we did not have quite the infrastructures we have now in terms of heat and air. So things were a lot dirtier. You might have heated with coal or wood, and you might not have had anything for AC other than opening your windows. So there was a lot of dust and potential grime that would build up. So I think that a lot of folks, maybe 100 plus years ago, this was also an opportunity to get all that off and put, and once again, my great aunt, truly, she had indoor heat, but she did not have air. So that was a time that she could bring out her window unit. So there are some historical things with the way that our lives have changed. But once again, an excellent time to think about those once a year things that frankly we forget about until the battery goes off. Okay. Right. And after the winter, I mean, how many of us really go look at our plumbing, our pipes, our garden hoses, things like that may have frozen during the winter?
That's true.
So it's just a good time to put it on your list for my to-do season. There's a lot of holidays in this quarter that you like so much. Can you name them?
Let's see. There's Easter. There's Mother's Day.
Yep.
You know what? Well, it's not in this one, but I also like St. Patrick.
Well, St. Patty's, yeah, that was just like 2 days ago.
We just passed
We'll let him slide in both.
There's also a lot of, it's not a particular holiday, but there's a lot of spring events. Like spring flings at school. Also, prom. And that's another reason why spring is one of my favorites, because historically speaking, it can be a very busy time for me in the business, as well as weddings going on. Yeah.
Going back to the historical things, though, of that rebirth, that regeneration, because you could look at rebirth in a variety of different definitions. Well, a couple that you forgot, we have Earth Day, we have Arbor Day. Some people call this a vernal equinox. They don't use the word spring, and historically that was the word that the Mayans and the Romans and the Egyptians used, the vernal equinox. So certainly a lot of stuff going on in this season, and thank you so much for sharing those colors, because I think it's just so difficult to know what to go from. You don't want to be that dull, but you, like I said, and I can't mention designer names, but you know, ladies, who I'm talking about. It's too early for me to start pulling her out. So where am I going to see you next, sir?
Oh man. Hopefully Actually, I'm excited because I'm doing something different out of the ordinary. And I like to usually try to be different, but this is like totally off of my radar. And I'm excited because I'm supporting a local entrepreneur with her photography business. I'm actually friends with her mother, and I've been wanting to support this young lady for the longest. But I'm not into really doing things just to be doing them. I just want a reason. I want it to be organic. And lo and behold, I am actually doing a Western photo shoot coming up at the end of this month, and I am totally excited with it. So not only am I showcasing my brand, but I'll be helping her with her photography. I've got a brand new pair of boots that I'm ready to break out. And also I had a phenomenal lady actually customize my cowboy hat. So I am, and she's a local business owner as well. So I am totally excited, totally stoked. This will be the first of, I don't know, maybe hopefully many, but we'll see how I get out of my comfort zone. Hopefully it'll go as well as we're both expecting it to. And I can't wait to show the world. And
if you've been following us along, we've talked many times about really a free way to do things is to barter.
Yes.
You've got the fashion, she's got the camera.
Yeah.
You know, you're more established, she is not. So that trade-off is a beautiful, very, very natural, organic, as you said, thing. So think about that today as another, what partnership is out there for you that could be ultimately be free. Well, once again, tying back to, I'm doing something new, a regeneration,
Right.
a birth of something. So very exciting. Well, folks, believe it or not, we are out of time, but I just want to remind you, Dairy Queen today, free cone,
Yes.
and Dunkin' Donuts, if you like to add up your points over there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Accelerate You.